I'm sure you remember that taking dictation is a really good skill, right? Didn't we have a dictation last week? Yeah. And you corrected it. It wasn't last week. It was just 2 days ago, right? And you corrected your dictations? Yes, and I looked at all your dictations on your Chapter 1 test after you wrote the dictation, and then I showed you the answer, and you corrected your own dictation. And some of you got all of the mistakes and found them and corrected them, and some of you missed some mistakes, even though I gave the paper back to you and said, remember past tense here, or S form here, or you're missing this word, or how do you spell the word, da-da-da-da. And so I thought I would catch all of them. But when I looked at your papers, I'm afraid to say that some of you still missed some mistakes. And so that means you have to be a little bit more careful in looking and also in listening, okay? But I think when you do it the first time, you maybe feel a little bit nervous, and the next time, you'll be fine, right? And we have more practice. So you know that learning to take dictation is a really important skill, because taking dictation builds and assesses your language skills, many language skills. Dictation can help you sharpen your listening skill and your grammar ability, right? When we talked about your mistakes, we talked about some of them, how you could have problems listening, and some of them because you don't have your grammar monitor on and you need to think of what you learn in grammar class. It helps you with your reading comprehension, so you see the sentences, the words in context. Helps you with your vocabulary knowledge. How do you use these words in sentences? And of course, it helps you with your spelling. Some of you are good at spelling, and some of you are not so good at spelling. So what can you do to get help? I gave you some, okay, practice, right. Practice. But how can you practice? I gave you an idea last time about practicing dictation. What was the idea that I gave you last time about practicing dictation? Listening to your CD. Okay, so when you listen to the CD, you need to stop it. Okay, so you play a sentence and then you pause or you stop your CD so that you can write it down on paper. With the book open or closed? Closed. With the book closed, just for listening dictation. Then you can write a few sentences, open your book up and check your answers, what you wrote, and check it carefully for the vocabulary and the grammar, the spelling, the punctuation, capitalization, and then you'll get better and better. You start to notice these things. Maybe at the beginning you're not noticing everything. Now, what's another way to get help? So besides listening to the CD and doing your dictation and listening dictation, another thing you can do is you can do writing practice. That is, you can copy sentences from your book into your notebook. Why? Because sometimes what happens is you read, you understand it, but what about your writing? Your reading and writing are not equal. Maybe your reading is better, you understand it, but your writing is missing some things. So sometimes what you read and you just copy. I think you know how to do that, right? So you see a paragraph or you see some sentences, you see some vocabulary, you copy the words and you copy it again and again, because maybe you keep on misspelling some words. Like, what pattern was I trying to teach you the other day? I think it was something with A-L-L-Y ending, and we had 3 words in that dictation with the same ending suffix. What were those words? Let's see, I think if I look them up, I can find out what we were doing our dictation on. We had physically, we had emotionally, we had individually. Those were 3 words that have the same pattern. We also had words that have the same pattern with past tense, like accessed and listened, and so some of you missed both of those. And then some of you missed the S endings, like moves and listeners, alters, relaxes, takes, entertains, makes, moves. Remember those words in the dictation? So some of you had the kind of error that you repeated over and over again. So you don't want to repeat an error, right? You want to repeat something correct. So maybe you learn the pattern, you can copy the sentences, and while you're copying the good sentence, you'll remember, subject, verb, agreement. Music moves us. Music takes us to another world. So copying is another thing. Now, here's another thing, is to learn spelling patterns. Now, where can we get extra help? There are 2 places we can get extra help on campus that I recommend, and they're over there in that corner. S2 201 is our Academic Support Center, Academic Support Center. In the past, we call it our learning center. It's the same place, and it's a place where you can get more practice. You can go there and say, I'm taking this class, I need more practice with my listening, or I need more practice pronunciation, or I need more practice with spelling. You go and you tell the teachers what you want to work on. All right, so that's one place. The other one is just around the corner. It's the Tutorial Center, S2401. In S2401, you can sign up for a tutor to help you one-on-one. Okay, so if you go to S2201, you do independent study. The teacher gives you some materials, suggests some materials, and you practice with them. Could be a book, could be a CD, could be online software, could be a lot of different products that you can practice with. With tutor, somebody meets with you. All right, so personally, they'll help you with your homework. For half an hour, you undivided attention. Or you can go with a friend. If you go 2 people or more, you can get 1 hour. All right, so it's a bonus time for you. Those are 2 places where you can go to get help regularly with your English. Okay? So you also got the information that I gave you about getting help on computer skills. So some of you have a little trouble learning how to use computer applications, and that's another place where you can go. They're doing it at the Mesa Tutorial Center. And also, sometimes you have just a short problem or a question that's easy. Is not something you need to study, but you can go to the Welcome Center. So the Welcome Center down on the first floor in the main entrance, that's where they help all kinds of students, and the students help each other. So students who have been here for a long time, or even a short time, but they know something and they want to share their knowledge and their skills with other students. That's another place that you can go for help. Okay, so taking dictation, especially for taking dictation, the good idea is to listen and write. Listen and write, listen and write. Not just wait for me to tell you, but to listen to other things. You have CD from my book, and you have CD probably from other books also. So you can use any kind of CD, because on the CD, the speakers speak really good English, right? They're model English. Good grammar, good pronunciation, good for you to listen and practice pronunciation, and listen and practice dictation. All right, so you did your dictation.